Hey YouTube, I just wanted to do a 1 month update on my synthetic permanent dreads. They are doing really great. They are secure except for several of the single-ended ones that fell out. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But yeah, they are lightweight. They don't itch. I get tons of compliments. They're easy to maintain. I just wake up and I put them in some type of style, pull them back, ponytail, cute up bun. I just this morning I trimmed them. They were much longer, like almost to my butt in some places, and I trimmed them to kind of, right above my breast area. Yeah, so it's becoming summer where we are, and it is really hot. So today I wanted to do the update and tell you that the only ones, I've had about 3 fall out, and they didn't just fall out like while I was walking down the street. They felt a little loose, and I kept pulling and pulling just to kind of see, and really with some pretty vigorous tugging, which I probably shouldn't have done, they came out, which is okay. Those were single-ended ones that were only secured with rubber bands, so it's kind of no surprise that they didn't last. So I'm going to replace those today with my amazing method that seems so secure and awesome, which is the braiding and the crochet hooking and the back combing, and basically installing a permanent synthetic dread onto your hair. I have other YouTube videos on this, but if anyone wants to see it kind of with a full head of hair, they're welcome to keep watching. So I have a patch of hair back here where 3 of the dreads fell out. I already did one this morning. I already replaced one, and now I'm going to replace the 2 other ones. So what I like to do is just to contain my dreads a little bit while I work. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is this piece of hair, I'm going to separate into 2 pieces because I'm going to make it 2 different dreads. So this piece here, I'm just going to get out the way. This is the one I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to get a little piece of my dread hair, of my synthetic hair. And from previous videos, you know that is synthetic yaki Kankalon hair. And I got it from Sally's. I think they were $3 or $5 a pack. I believe I've used, I don't know how many packs I've used in total, 8 or 10 or so, not a ton. Okay. So as you know from my other YouTube videos, you're just going to secure this piece, and you're going to take the 2 pieces of your hair that you've divided and braid it with the synthetic hair. It's as simple as that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to get, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to get a braid in there. That is the thing. So I'm sorry you can't watch this, but I'm concerned that you won't be able to hear my voice. And sure, I guess I could do a little note or a blurb, but that's okay. So I am braiding my hair around with the synthetic hair. And I'm getting almost to the bottom of where my hair is. Now, my suggestion would be, if you love very neat, and then, as you know, you're just going to wrap the remaining piece of synthetic hair around the top of the dread. But if you would like very neat, very well sectioned, no fly dreads with like no flyaways, I would really suggest that you have a friend to help you, because or just really meticulously use a mirror and do very precise sections, which I don't recommend for dreads. I like that kind of look of just very messy, very natural looking dreads. My son has dreads. Everyone I know who has dreads, or almost everyone I know has dreads, that has let them form naturally. I mean, they just kind of form in varying clumps. Some of the, you know, dreads of hair are larger, some are smaller. Now, what I wanted to show, which I've never showed in any of my other videos, is how to crochet hook the dread hair, the synthetic hair, excuse me, how to crochet hook the synthetic hair into your own hair where the braid is. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to back comb. Okay, just to kind of, you know, knot up the bottom of the dread where there is no braid. All right, that's what I'm going to do first. And I think to have had these slightly over a month, they still look great. They're just so easy. I'd like to think I'll have dreads for the rest of my life because they're just such an amazing hairstyle. To have had 5 total come out, 2 within the first few days. I probably didn't put them in correctly. And again, they were all the single-ended ones. And then 3 that I really, in a way, they were loose, but I really pulled them out over the past week or so. I think that's a pretty good track record. And any of the ones that I've used this method where I braided them in, they are very secure. Okay, crochet hook. Everyone can use a different size. You find what works for you. This is a 0.8, and I do suggest something smaller than a 1.0. Otherwise, it's just too thick. You take the crochet hook, you stick it in the middle of the dread, and you just crochet. You just pull it in and out. That's all I do. You pull it in and out, and just work your way down. And you will, and then kind of twist it so you're crocheting all sides of your braid, your dread braid, I like to call it. And do that a couple good times. You don't have to crochet it to death. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. That is already, you can feel it's nice and tight. It's nice and firm. And the reason you do the braid is just in case the braid wants to start to unravel over time. I have not found that with any of my dreads that I put in with using this method. I have not, and that I did not go back and crochet hook them just because I was too lazy. I thought, oh, the braid seems secure. I have not found any of them to have unraveled or any of them to be loose or to have slipped or anything. So the crocheting is just, maybe if your hair is very fine or you're just ultra nervous about them coming loose, which you don't have to be, at least according to my experience with them, but and it'll just help your hair dread up a little faster, and it may give it a little bit more uniform appearance from the braid down here to the rest of the dread where you're only going to crochet hook. And again, I have other YouTube videos that show different methods of doing this. You can crochet hook your dread to make a dread. You can back comb and crochet hook. You can just back comb and twist and seal with hot water. I wouldn't suggest hot water while the dreads are on your hair. That's okay if you're doing single-ended dreads and you have a dread and you want to seal it with hot water and then attach it to your hair. What I do is I steam them to seal them sometimes. And I just think with dreads, different things work for different people and at different times. And it just depends kind of how I'm feeling. I have some dreads that I've just crochet hooked that I didn't seal, steam seal. They seem just fine and they look great. I have other dreads that I back comb, twisted, and steam sealed, and they look great too and are very secure and haven't unraveled or anything. And I have other dreads that I did both. I back combed, I crochet hooked, and I steam sealed, and they're really no more secure or tight or better looking than the other ones. It just, I don't know. There's so many, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat, put it like that. And I've watched many other YouTube videos where people used all different types of methods. They claim they work very well, and I believe them because I think different things work for different kind of hair, for different kind of people, and at the end of the day, different things work equally well. So I'm showing you a few different methods, and you know, and there's lots of other methods you can find out there on YouTube. Now, as I said before, because you are crochet hooking this into your hair, there are ways to brush dreads out, and there are plenty of YouTube videos on that. But I would not suggest doing this if you just want temporary dreads. I want permanent dreads. So I crochet hook the synthetic hair and the braid to my real hair. And they seem very secure, and I hope they last, maybe not forever, because eventually my hair will grow out and get long, and I will cut, eventually the synthetic dreads will get cut off in many, many years. But this is what works for me. So, but yeah, I don't suggest this. Now, as you can see, the dread is getting so nice and tight. I'm just going to dread down a little bit further, or crochet hook a little bit further, and yeah, then I will be done. And I'll show you how I cut my ends. Now, a lot of people will tell you, don't cut ends, wrap them. I've done that for most of my dreads, and it's fine. It looks fine too. I've noticed with my son's dreads, again, he has natural dreads, he's had them all his life, and I maintain his hair since he's only 8, and I end up, you know, separating his roots every 6 months or so, and they just kind of all start to mat and dread together, and we like them to hang a little bit more freely. So I kind of, you know, separate the roots. I don't crochet hook his hair just because he wouldn't sit still that long, and it can get a little bit uncomfortable the closer to the root you get. You are pulling on your hair. So I don't crochet hook his, and his hair dreads right up within a few months, and, you know, continues to form his beautiful dreads, individual dreads. But I just bluntly cut his with, you know, hairs, you know, with stylus scissors, and they look blunt. The ends look blunt for a few weeks, I would say about 2 weeks, and then they start to take on a very natural rounded appearance, and lose that blunt look. I mean, the blunt look looks, I think it actually looks nice. It looks like a nice, well trimmed kind of hairdo, and his are about just right past shoulder length, and very full and nice. And so it looks like he went to a stylist and kind of got his hair quote unquote styled. But within a few weeks, they start to natural out and, you know, kind of round out and look even more natural. Okay, so I'm done with that. What I do though, if you want to wrap the hair around the end and, you know, crochet hook it so you have a nice soft end, you can do that. I'm not going to do that this time because honestly I don't really have the time, and I want this to be shorter. I literally just cut off the end, and if you've crochet hooked really well, of course it won't unravel, and then I just kind of go back and crochet hook the end. And what I find is that the end will soften out over a few weeks, even with the synthetic hair. That has been my experience. That synthetic hair, I find, sure, I know it is not human hair and it has different properties than human hair, but it over time acts not too dissimilarly than at least than I think African American hair. I don't know. I mean, I've never had Caucasian hair or non-African American hair, so I don't know. But I think in general, I think its properties over time are not that dissimilar from regular hair. But only time will tell. So there you go. There is the end of my dread. I need to cut off some of the flyaways, and bam, I have one more to do, which I will do later. But yeah, that is how you very quickly, and that took what, all of 10 minutes. Yeah, there you go. So 1 month update and how you put in a dread and crochet hook it to your hair. There you go. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.